I was thinking about when I was a kid, 5 or 6 years old, my friend Brian and I were making fun of my neighbor Mark, who lived right next door to me. Our backyard separated only by a chain link fence. Mark wouldn't share his toy with us. I think it was a wiffle ball and bat, but I can't be sure. But Brian and I were mad at Mark, who wouldn't share with us, and so we made fun of him. And I sang the song, Peanut Butter and Jelly on Mark's Buns. I'm not particularly proud of this song. I wish that I hadn't sung those words, even though I was young. It was kind of mean, a little bit funny, absurd, most certainly, but it didn't come from a good place. I was hurt. We were hurt. We wanted Mark to share his toys with us. Of course, after a little bit, it was fine, but I think about that song every once in a while as one of those things that I sort of laugh at and shake my head at and maybe even feel a little bit of guilt or remorse. But then I start to think of other things that I've said throughout the years that may have been, offensive and certainly tore somebody down and really just wasn't helpful. And so I've been thinking about this phrase, stop saying that, something that we say to our kids all the time. In fact, maybe my mom or dad said to me, Adam, don't say that. Well, what happens is we are conditioned then to learn that you can think those things all you want, just don't let it out of your mouth. And so then we learn over time that the best way to control what we say is to just not say it. I wonder if there's a different way about this. First, let's go to Ephesians. This is where this whole thing comes from. I'm writing a message this week on this passage. Here's part of it. Paul writes, "Therefore, each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor, for we are all members of one body. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold." And that's the word of the Lord. And he actually goes on to talk more about talking and why it matters, the things that we say, because we say things that we regret. Maybe you do. I certainly do. So when Paul is talking to this group, he's talking to the church, he's talking to Christians in the body of Christ. They can't be lying to each other. They can't be speaking falsely to each other. Why do we lie? Because we want to cover our own tails. Why don't we want to get in trouble? Because we don't like it. And so we will even employ the lie to cover up for whatever it is that we're trying to cover up. That's not how Christians are supposed to be. Unfortunately, we have this mark of being like that, sometimes even often. We can't lie. We can't lie to each other. And what we say to each other matters. And this idea that if we just don't say it and keep it to ourselves, it's fine, is only an external solution to an internal problem. Jesus puts it this way: a good person brings good things out of the good stored up in their heart, and an evil person, you could probably guess the rest of it, brings evil things out of the evil stored up in their heart. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. I would put it to you this way: the dialogue in my heart foreshadows the words that I will soon say. You may not think of yourself as premeditating the words that you will say, but you always are, because the words are just a natural expression of your heart. So we're going to talk more about this week. Would love your feedback in the comments, but until then, can we stop saying that? The lie, the discouragement, the grumbling, the arguing. Let's just stop saying that, but not because we are trying really hard to stop, but because we're letting Jesus change our heart, which is really the source of our foreshadowed dialogue. That's RadCast.